Hey, you guys. So today, I want to talk a little bit about experience. I heard a story on NPR a couple days ago where this woman was talking about, probably a book she wrote, about how millennials and the younger generations like to spend their money on experiences rather than possessions. Even the statement's a little misleading, but I get the gist of it. They're not buying houses and big ticket items. They're saving their money for vacations and things like that. And she was talking about how the memories that they get are as important as the objects that other people are spending their money on. And I had a lot to learn about experience over the last 20 plus years. The first thing that I realized is that it's not possible to understand something without real experience with it. I can read about it, I can have been around it a little bit, but unless I have a lot of experience with something, I don't really understand it. One of my friends a long time ago used to, when I was acting like I knew how something worked when I didn't have much experience with it, he would tell me, you could be fascinated by skydiving, and you can read magazines and watch videos about skydiving, and you can learn how to fold parachutes, and you can read about different kinds of planes and different types of skydiving, and you can even go to meetup groups full of people who love to skydive, but until you've jumped out of an airplane a few times, you don't know a single goddamn thing about skydiving. And he was right. I have to have experience to really understand something. I think this is what's causing a lot of the problems in our culture right now, is like people are aware that there are other people who are different than them out there, but they have no experience with it. And when I don't have experience with something, it's real easy to respond with fear of the unknown. I have to get experience. But it's also how change happens. The more people have experience with things, the more things change. You know, as everybody started getting, like when I was traveling around the country in the early 80s with blue hair in a punk rock band, it was not entirely safe to stop in a small town to get gasoline. And now you could stop in that same small town and the girl behind the counter has got pink hair, because everybody got basic cable in the 80s and 90s. And they started getting exposure to things, and they're just not quite as threatening as they used to be. I have to build my life on experience. If I don't have experience with a type of person or a type of culture, I have to go get some experience. I have to be careful how many beliefs I have that are rooted in anything other than actual experience. I mean, of course I can't know everything, and I have to do some reading, and I have to trust the judgment of others, and yada yada, but I gotta be careful, especially on the ideas I have that are putting me at odds with other people. I gotta get some experience. I'd walk a mile in their shoes sort of thing. Also, in thinking about her discussion about vacations and people buying experiences rather than buying possessions, during the entire course of her talk, I thought she was missing a central point, which is when I go on a vacation, I'm not just buying an experience, I'm buying a shared experience. Like if I go to Tibet and go see the ruins and everything else, and I do all that by myself and I don't share that experience with anybody, sure, it makes my life richer, but not the same way as if I share that experience with other people. It's shared experience that builds community. And it took me a long time to realize that liking somebody didn't make them my friend, even if they liked me too. What really made us friends was shared experience over time. Lots and lots of shared experience. It's the things we did together. Like my wife and I have a joke that we will go do anything together, even if it's awful, because it'll make a funny story later. Like, oh my God, you remember that time we went to the wedding and the geese would not stop honking the whole damn, like, it's a funny story, it's a shared experience. I was bad about having what one of my brothers refers to as proximity buddies. People who were my friends because we were in proximity with each other, but if that proximity changed, they just sort of disappeared and I didn't maintain the friendship. I was bad at that. Bad at making friends, bad at maintaining relationships, until I realized that I was letting people slip out of my life that actually resonated with me, and that was going to require me to start showing up and taking some deliberate action so that I can continue to share space and share experience with these people. I've gotten a little bit better at it, and it's come back up a bunch during the pandemic. And it's what I was talking about in the previous video. It's like, I need to go out and have one-on-one conversations, and maybe even small group conversations in a safe way. Spontaneous, we don't know what we're going to talk about, we're just going to enjoy each other's company. I've been doing a bunch of that the last week and a half, and having a really good time making real connections with some folks that I really like, but who I haven't been in the same room with in 6 months. Now I'm starting on a second round of getting together with them again so we can continue to build those connections. I'd encourage you to look around and see where some of the friction in life is and figure out if you can get a way to go get some experience with the people you have disdain for. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of disdain for a lot of other people and everybody, and it's hard right now when the other person is so angry or so locked into their views that there's no conversation. It's difficult. Sometimes it's easier just to avoid. But also really look at your shared experience with people. What sort of experiences am I sharing communally and collectively with the people around me? It's harder to do now because we're not around a lot of people. So we have to kind of do it on purpose. But I think it's where the real juice of life is. It doesn't matter all the things that I've done if I haven't done them with anybody and I don't have anybody to share them with. You know, I'm connected to a whole bunch of people from the punk rock scene in the early 80s, and even though I haven't seen some of them in a decade or more, when we get in the same room together, it's like we picked up a conversation from yesterday because of all those years of doing that same little thing together. I encourage you to reach out, you know, connect with some folks, make some new connections, reinvigorate some old ones, try to get some shared experience. Reach out to me, I need help with it. You know, if you're struggling, keep going. It's a hard time and it's not going to be over soon. But we got to keep showing up. We got to keep finding like-minded people to share experiences and build relationships with. You know, I want a big, cool life. That's it. I want a big, cool life. Not at some point in the future, today. And it means I got to get a little bit better at meeting the demands of today. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing all right out there. You know, reach out if I can help. I'll see you again next time.